Okay, guys, I played that song. This live, what we're going to hear tonight is is beyond I don't know what. Like half of the freaking court documents is redacted because it's so bad. How those kids were treated was so bad. They had to redact the court documents. Like the whole pages, multiple pages. You'll see in a second. So I wanted to play that song real quick because children are our future. Teach them well and they will lead the way. Hold on one second. That's the end. Sorry, that was the documents they were talking about because, um, yeah, I was just watching it. Here we go. Let me present it. Thanks everybody for being here. Richie, I'm gonna edit it out before when I end it, I'm gonna private it and edit it out. It's okay. It will be all good in the hood. All right, let's go, you guys. Take this off. This is horrifying. They act like they just didn't do anything wrong. It's just, hold on one second. I gotta put this. Y'all know I don't do trigger warnings. Y'all know that. I gotta leave this up here. This is sad. And I'm sorry. I understand if you cannot watch it. It is not easy to listen to. I totally understand. So it's in sections. This one is where Ruby gets arrested. And then we have this is where her husband's interrogated. And then this is where the cops find the safe. And this is jailhouse calls. So it's all in sections. So we're starting with her arrest first.
You want to put on one of our vehicles?
Yeah, you want. Okay, just me. Perfect. And then, right, I can put a finger in each of these, okay? And I'm just going to double up this so they don't tighten up on you on the way out there. Where's your car?
It's out there.
Yeah.
About by the command.
You don't have anything on you that I should know about, correct? Any weapons, anything that we're going to find. Before you put you in a police vehicle, we need to search your person to make sure you don't have anything on you. Is there anything you have on you? Okay, I'm going to search you before we put you in his car. That's just protocol, so I'm just going to have you step right over here and then just widen your legs, widen your stance. Yep, perfect. Are you wearing a bra? Okay, I'm just going to go like this through and make sure you don't have anything. You said you're not wearing a bra? Okay. Is that just like a tank top under here? Okay. Just gonna lift up your hair. Okay. All right, you're just gonna walk with Officer Hines.
He'll go out this way.
And then, hey, Hines.
You want to go this way or that way?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then if you want to go down the downstairs into the interview room downstairs.
Sounds good.
You going down or I'm going down? You're going down. I'll go get the store for you.
I appreciate it. As an
Y'all watch her. She looks so mad. Like, what the hell am I doing getting arrested? I did nothing wrong. Like, what is going on? She looks so freaking mad.
actually come turn my car off, but I'm leaving now, so we're good. It's still on. Okay. Hey, hold on. Well. If you want to ask,
I got you.
just so we can tell them who we're taking down there. Ruby? Yeah. Go this way. Might be. Sorry. Yeah, Captain. She told me transfer it down, then she'll meet me there.
Yeah, take me in your car, then
Yeah. Appreciate it. Ruby, what's your last name? Just so I could tell them I'm transferring. Okay. Control traffic 13. I'll be transferring Ruby to number 12. I'll give you my beginning here in a minute.
It's so good to see you, Justice Jane. Thanks for coming in. Kaz, you're like 2 minutes late.
I'll come back until they get back here. You guys got it? Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah, that's it. Sorry, brown hammer. I thought it was pink. All right. Thanks, sir. Bye. Good. Come on up, please. We'll go that way towards that door. What's that? Downstairs in the interview room. So I could have gone that way, but appreciate you opening the door. We'll take these stairs right here. All right. And we'll left down this hall. This next one right here. Right here. And we'll go ahead and I can remove those trucks right here. Go to down and remove them. Just so, yeah. Okay, go ahead and have a seat. Light on. Okay, she'll be here shortly, okay?
Hi, I was just wondering if you could do 2 favors.
Well, what are they?
Taking me to the nearest police station.
For the first time, we're hearing from Ruby Franke's son himself, the emaciated 12-year-old boy who broke free from duct tape shackles and ran for help. His escape exposed the shocking abuse at the hands of his mother, Ruby Franke.
I'll wait till I have a lawyer.
And her friend, disgraced psychiatrist Jodi Hildebrandt.
If you knew all the pieces, I think you'd have a lot of empathy for what's going on.
And the details of the boy's abuse proved to be more horrific than we could have ever imagined.
Medical got there, they started cutting the stuff off him, and then you can see like the dark.
It's bad. I'm telling you right now, it's starting to get bad. They talk about smelling flesh, etc. It is bad. I'm trying to let you know now in case you have
Around his ankles, and it you could smell it with the flesh.
By now, you know the story of Ruby Franke, the once famed YouTube mom who turned convicted child abuser. Franke rose to fame documenting the lives of her children on the YouTube channel 8 Passengers that at one point had more than 2 million followers. Critics pointed out Franke's alarming parenting tactics far before her arrest.
And my kids are literally starving. I hesitate to say this because it's going to sound like I'm like a mean barbarian, but I told the kids, I said, I'm not even going to let you eat breakfast until you get your chores done.
But it was August 30th, 2023 when things really changed for Franke.
Place your hands on your back for me. Perfect. And then
That's when this harrowing 911 call was made.
This kid has obviously been, I think he's been detained. He's obviously covered in wounds.
We've played the call for you dozens of times here on Law and Crime Network, but this is the first time we're actually seeing what led up to it. This week, Washington County, Utah finally released dozens of documents, photos, audio recordings, and videos, all relating to the Franke case, and we're getting a firsthand look at what happened. We know that on August 30th of last year, the Franke's son, who we are identifying as RF, broke free from Jodi Hildebrandt's Ivins, Utah home and ran for help. Here's a video of him approaching a neighbor's home and ringing the bell. You can see RF ring the bell and wait at the front door for someone to answer.
This is not the actual house that calls 911. This guy does not open the door. I guess he doesn't hear him knocking. It says that he probably doesn't have the strength to knock loud enough. No, this is Utah. Southwest Jeff, you have don't you have a predator thing like
As he stands there, RF is emaciated with extremely small legs. You can see the duct tape around his ankles. He's wearing a ragged long sleeve shirt that has blood on the arm and socks without shoes. When RF knocks on the door, it's soft, almost as if he's too weak to make a loud bang. After about 2 minutes waiting at this home, RF leaves and heads to another neighbor's home. The next neighbor RF visits makes the infamous 911 call, and the entire thing is caught on Ring camera video. Here, you can see the boy slowly approach the door before pressing the intercom. At first, it seems like no one will answer the door as there's an automated response.
Answer the door right now, but if you'd like to leave a message, you can do it now.
So RF's
I have never seen a doorbell ring cam thingy that lets you leave a message if they're not home. I never in my life saw something like this.
starts to walk off before we hear what sounds like a door opening.
Yes.
RF turns around and faces the neighbor, asking for what he calls some favors.
Hi, I was just wondering if you could do 2 favors.
Well, what are they?
Taking me to the nearest police station.
The man asks the boy what's going on, and he replies, it's personal business.
Well, actually, just one's fine.
What's going on, son? Have a seat there.
It's personal business.
The neighbor asks RF how he got over there before the video cuts out.
What's your name? How'd you get here?
We now know RF broke free from duct tape shackles after months of abuse. He and his younger sister were found in such poor condition that they needed to be hospitalized after their rescue. Next, we see video of the neighbor making the infamous 911 call that up until now, we only had heard audio for. As you can see, RF is within earshot of the call.
222-1512. I just had a 12-year-old boy show up here at my front door asking for help. And he's said he had just came from a neighbor's house, and he's emaciated, he's got tape around his legs, he's hungry, and he's thirsty.
Need someone immediately.
Another video shows the man still on the line with 911.
But he has duct tape around
Big
his ankle.
injuries, there's sores around them.
Yeah, there's sores around him. I think there's a good chance he's been...
He also has.
Oh, and he has it around his ankle.
As well.
I mean, his wrist as well. Okay, this boy has been...
Needs immediate attention.
The 911 recording is famous for the neighbor tearing up during the call as he explains the boy's condition. We now know that as one neighbor was saying all this, the other was comforting RF.
Oh, he was such a good kid.
This kid is awfully sleeping. I think he's been detained. He's obviously covered in wounds.
In another ring video from the same house, we see RF eating for the first time as emergency responders arrive.
He's hungry and he's young man. He's had up with carrying stocking feet. So he escaped.
We need the police here now.
They're on the line.
You know how many hours you've been that? Okay.
I hear a car, but they're not coming on the driveway.
The neighbors wave for the ambulance to come closer as they tell RF he's going to be checked out.
No, they're just not getting out of the truck. Okay. Okay, thank you. Bye.
I gave
These folks are gonna examine you.
Separate body camera video shows one of the first responders begin to cry after seeing RF's wounds.
I'll take more. If you want me to, send them to you.
Soon, RF is loaded into the back of an ambulance. Body camera video shows a sergeant speak with the boy, saying he needs a few pictures of the wounds.
Hey, I'm Sergeant Tolber. I'm going to just get a few pictures. Are you okay with that?
Washington County released photos of the boy's wounds and his sister's, but we've decided not to show them because they're too gruesome. Additional video of RF being treated has been partially redacted, but you can hear a first responder remind the boy he's not in trouble.
How did you get the ropes on you? Who did them? You're not in trouble with me, okay? We're just trying to figure out what's going on. Our main focus right now is you, okay? Who put the ropes on you? Supposed to help you what?
An officer later describes RF's wounds, saying he could smell the flesh.
First observed the kid. He was sitting on the chair, had the duct tape and plastic around his ankles. And then he had a long sleeve shirt on. And then we pulled his sleeves up and he had duct tape and clear plastic underneath the sleeves on both wrists. And then medical got there. They started cutting the stuff off him. And then you can see like the dark around his ankles, and it you could smell it with the flesh. underneath the tape. As soon as they took it off, you can, even outside, you can smell.
That breaks me right there. They're alive, being abused, and the tape is on him and the rope is on him so tight that they can smell his rotting, I guess, rotting flesh from where the sores and all are. This is sickening. Yeah, they should have got more than what they got taking a plea deal. Wait till you hear the jail call.
You can smell the flesh. And then the transport, or put him in the ambulance. I went in there. They started cutting more off of it. You can see the wounds on the back of his ankles, around the front of his ankles, and then on his wrists as well. And the wounds around his ankles were dark and like, I don't know, like wet looking, I guess, from the moisture underneath it. Yeah, he said he was tied on the ground with a rope. That's where the wounds came from. Yeah, with ropes on all 4 of his extremities. And that's where the wounds came from. And then they put cayenne pepper mixed with honey, he said, on the wounds.
Did y'all hear that? That has got to burn. Cayenne pepper on open wound. Wow. And honey.
And then covered that with the plastic saran wrap and then the duct tape over the wounds. Yeah. And then that's what we cut off, was that. Yeah, they dressed the wounds. Some of the wounds, when I was in there, when they went to go peel it, they thought it was some of the dressing. It was actually his skin that was.
Jodi, I need you to step out.
I have.
Here we go with Jodi. She ain't quiet like Ruby was.
I have my turn.
That's great. Step out of the house.
No, I'm not gonna step out of the
Step
house.
out of the house.
Step out of the house.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
We're just gonna see
Whoa,
if
whoa,
anybody else.
whoa.
Is there anybody else home?
Wait a minute, how do you come to my house?
Right there.
Look, they going into my house.
Just have a seat right there.
Do you have a search warrant?
Have a seat right there.
Do you have a search warrant?
Have a seat right there. I'll explain everything after. Have a seat right there.
Do you have a search warrant, sir?
Control 12X11. Can you hold the air? We're searching the house.
I can tell you what's in the house.
Okay. Just have a seat right there for me.
Do you have a search warrant?
We'll explain it after this.
You can't just come into my house without a search warrant.
We'll explain everything after this, ma'am. Okay. Well, that's one of the reasons why we're here. So we'll explain after everything's done, after we clear the house and make sure everything's fine in
But
there.
why are you coming into my house without a
We'll
search warrant?
explain it after this.
But that doesn't make sense. You come into my house and do what you want, and then you tell me you don't have a
No,
warrant?
we'll explain why we did.
But don't you have to have a warrant?
Not at this moment, we don't. We're here on exigent circumstances. And I'll explain it after this, after my sergeant and the officer are done clearing the house. Is there anybody else in the house?
Yes.
2 kids?
There's a little girl.
Just one?
She's right over here.
Okay. How old is she?
She'll be 10 next week.
Okay. And she's on this side?
I have Airbnb guests over there. Probably scared me to death.
Okay. And they're on this side of the house then?
They're right over there. She's over here.
Can you get through the house that way?
Yes, they just have to go right there.
There's no other kids besides her?
No.
What's her name? Should be off to, where are you at? Should be off to the left, right in there. To the main bedroom?
It's right there.
How do you get there from the inside?
Walk around the corner. There's a little hall. And it's the first.
Just around the corner, down the hall.
Second door to the right.
You come in, my buddy. I'm a police officer.
We're getting a glimpse into newly released video showing the devastating moments after police encountered the children of disgraced YouTuber Ruby Franke. Officials have recently released a large amount of evidence against the former mom blogger, who is serving a lengthy prison sentence for felony aggravated child abuse. Franke and her then business partner Jodi Hildebrandt's arrests were triggered after Franke's 12-year-old son was found emaciated with open wounds and duct tape around his body. A newly released Ring camera video, the young boy appears thinner and without shoes, in stark contrast to how he appeared years earlier in Franke's vlog. When he rings a neighbor's doorbell, he asks, "Can you take me to the nearest police station?"
Yes.
Hi, I was just wondering if you could do 2 favors.
Well, what are they?
Taking me to the nearest police station. Well, actually, just one's fine.
What's going on, son? Have a seat there.
It's personal business.
Have a seat. What's your name? How'd you get here?
The neighbor then calls 911.
Tell me exactly what's happened.
I just had a 12-year-old boy show up here at my front door asking for help. And he's said he just came from a neighbor's house, and we know there's been problems at this neighbor's house. He's emaciated, he's got tape around his legs, he's hungry, and he's thirsty.
Is your door locked?
No, I'm sitting outside with him on the front patio.
Okay, cool.
And he asked us to call the police.
What's
So
the
he's
name?
very afraid.
The neighbors out of their home, or is anybody looking for them that you can see?
No, our homes are far enough away. I'm not sure. How did you get out of the house?
Porch. He went out.
He says you just left through the porch at the neighbor's house. Her name is Jodi Hildebrandt, and she lives 2 doors up the street.
Body cam video later shows officers and emergency responders arriving. One EMT seems so shocked by the extent of Franke's son's injuries, she can be heard saying, "I'm going to cry."
I'll take more. Or do you want me to send them to you?
Franke's son is later put inside an ambulance for treatment, where video shows officers talking to the young boy while he's on the gurney and asking who put the duct tape on him.
How did you get the ropes on you? Who did them? You're not in trouble with me, okay? We're just trying to figure out what's going on. Our main focus right now is you, okay? Who put the ropes on you? Supposed to help you what?
Portions of the evidence have been redacted. While he's being treated, he tells the officers he's not the only one who needed help. His sister is still inside Hildebrandt's home. When officers go inside of the home, that's when they make another heartbreaking discovery. Ruby Franke's young daughter, who we're referring to as EF, sitting inside of the closet cross-legged on the floor in complete silence.
You come in, my buddy. I'm a police officer. Are you going for the union here? Hey. You okay?
Are you
Is this
kidding
you in here?
me? She's
I'm
just
sorry.
sitting in a little closet, empty, with nothing in it. Maybe a little light, night light or something. Are you kidding?
Tobler. What's your name? I just have one. Where's your sister at? Contact one. You okay? Huh? You doing okay? You don't want to talk to me? Yeah, that's okay. Can you come with me though?
Sergeant Tobler would later tell ABC News they initially believed Franke's daughter was a little boy due to the young girl having a buzz cut at the time. Tobler then tells EF they apprehended Jodi Hildebrandt, but the little girl still sits silent, seemingly too afraid to speak.
We got Jodi out here. You know Jodi?
Wow.
She's outside with us. You take your time, bud. I'm in no hurry. I'm a police officer. Did you know that? I don't mean to hurt you at all. You doing okay? Are you scared? Yeah? You're okay. Do you need help? You want to come with me? No? I'm not going to hurt you. Promise. See this right here? It's a badge. It tells me I don't hurt people. I'm just here to make sure you're okay. You're in no way in any trouble. I'm not here to hurt you. I just want to make sure you're okay. And I get if you're scared. I would be too. Okay? You want to come with me?
Still visibly afraid, the officer then offers reassurance to the young child by sitting down on the floor with her.
I'm just going to sit down. It's okay if I just sit here with you. We don't have to say anything if you don't want to.
That's a 10-year-old, about to be 11 the next following week after this happened. A 10-year-old. Look how skinny she is.
Okay? I'll just sit here with you.
A little more than an hour later, EF is still afraid to leave the closet. Sergeant Tobler asks the young girl if she's hungry and would like some food.
I'll put the screen, okay? Whenever you're ready, you can eat. There we go. Whew. Thanks, yeah.
EF seems nervous to eat as she stares at the small personalized pizza for several minutes before slowly inching the food toward her so she can take a bite. Frankie's daughter reportedly eats the entire personal pizza and half of the large one. More than an hour goes by and EF is still afraid to leave the closet as officials take turns to try to get her up, but she's still not budging. One EMT tries to get her to talk, but she said she's nervous.
You don't want to talk? Okay. There's nothing at all you want to talk about at all? It's okay to talk to me. Are you scared? What?
It's unclear what was said after EF tells the EMT she's nervous. However, 10 minutes later, officials reassure EF she won't be harmed.
So can we carry you from there? It's the right choice. I promise. Pinky promise. We helped your brother. And we got him some help too. And that's what we want to do for you. If we want to get you some help too. We are safe. We will not hurt you, and we won't do anything to hurt you.
It's unclear what was said next, but after nearly 4 hours, EF stands up with the emergency responders and slowly walks out of the closet. EF is later taken to a hospital. Hildebrandt and Franke were ultimately arrested.
Was this your water?
It's yours if you want it. We'll say that. How's that?
We also have snacks if you need anything to eat. So I know I introduced myself.
No. She does not deserve snacks because she didn't want to feed her children.
To you earlier, but my name is Detective Bates, and this is Sergeant Tobler. We're just here to talk to you about kind of a few things involving your kids. So first, do you live down here, or do you live up north? Do you want to talk to me about where you live or how many kids you have? So we just spoke with your husband, and he said you guys have 6 kids. Are those all together? Are those all your kids? I can wait all day. So it's up to you if you want to talk to us about what's going on. Would you feel more comfortable talking to one of us?
Or do you want me to I can step out if you want?
Or if you feel more comfortable talking to him, I can step out.
I'll wait till I have a lawyer.
Okay. So you don't want to talk to us at all? Do you want to answer that? Or you don't want to talk to us about anything?
So yeah, this is just your chance to tell us. We're just trying to get your side of the story. So it's your chance to do that. But it's up to you. We're just here to talk. And I mean, I'm not asking any criminal questions. If you don't want to talk to us, just let us know and we'll be done.
I've already told you.
You want a lawyer? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Easy enough.
Thank you.
Is there anything else I can get for you in the meantime? I got the water. Do you need a bathroom break or anything like that? No. Okay.
Hey, back on my bullshit. I missed you.
Hey Jodi, how are you? So I know I introduced myself when we were out there, but again, my name's Detective Bates, and this is Sergeant Tobler.
I'm trying to get you in the video. I need you sitting in the seat for me. It's all about camera angles. You sit in that. Great.
Can I get you any water, snacks? Doing all right?
Can be expected. How long you lived here in Islands?
6 years.
6 years. The same house? Wow. You married? Single?
Where'd you move from?
Utah County.
And how long were you up there for?
I'm a little nervous.
You're to be honest with you, if I was sitting over there, I'd be a little nervous too. So don't worry about it. We're just here to talk, to get your side. And right now we're just asking you just typical questions, like how long you lived here, that kind of thing.
I watched too many detective movies.
How yeah.
Which one's your favorite?
Me too. You can't honestly. I sit there and I'm married, and I sit there and watch those with my wife, and I say, like, we don't. That's not how we do it. That's not right. So don't take. There's some good ones out there. Don't get me wrong, but most of them are probably a little off base. We're not as mean. I won't get up and beat you up. We don't do that.
We just want to get to know you a little. So if you just kind of want to share a little about yourself and what brought you down here. And
So I trust my attorney. He said, don't say anything. And I said, I have nothing to hide. And he's like, I know that, but just let me be there with you when we talk. So you guys seem nice people.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to hide anything. I'm trying to be difficult. This is really, if you knew all the pieces, I think you'd have a lot of empathy for what's going on.
That's really
what we're looking for. And you're an adult. And the thing about our interview, if we ask you any questions that you don't want to answer, you can just tell us, I don't want to answer that question. But we do want to have a basis and an understanding of what's going on in that home, or what went on up north that brought them into your home. And so if you want to share any of that and you don't want to answer any other questions, that's okay.
I'd like to just tell you, but I don't know who you are. I don't know if you're gonna flip my words. I don't know.
And that's the good thing about cameras. Everything, it's pretty much double recorded, audio, video, and it's for the safety of for you and for us, because we don't want to flip your words. And this will all be pretty much right there to support you. So we're not going to use anything against you.
He's so insistent then. He's an honest, good man, goes to church. I trust him. Why would he say that to me then?
I don't know your attorney, to be honest.
Well, I'm just saying he's a
good
good, honest man.
Yeah,
and I'm an honest person as well. So we get along great. And he just said, do not say anything.
Maybe just as an attorney,
They always say that.
they always want to be with their client. I'm not sure. But like I said, at any time, if you don't want to answer a question, you don't have to. So the ball's really in your court on what you do want to answer and what you don't. So,
well, I think it looks sad that I don't want to answer anything, but it's not because I'm trying to be difficult. I'm really hanging on what he told me to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, who's your attorney?
Adam, his father's an attorney, his brother's an attorney.
Is he local?
Yeah.
Is it? Oh, I don't know.
He's on the street where the town hall is.
Well,
They all have the same name.
The whole reason we're sitting here today is there's a lot of questions we have that we just maybe misunderstandings that we just need to clarify. And
I know, and I'd love to tell you if you were here, because I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with what I say. You know, I'm a psychologist. I've watched people flip things all the time, so I get it. I sit on your side. I get it. Wish people didn't do that.
Some psychologist you are. I can't stand this woman. I want to punch her in the throat. She got a big one too. Maybe I could do a double jab.
They do.
well, if you're not willing to answer any of the questions about yourself, would you be willing to answer any questions maybe about Ruby or Kevin that you could help us understand? We just honestly want to understand what what their dynamic is, what happened to the children, what caused their separation.
Right.
And after talking to Kevin, it sounds like you know a lot about their dynamic and their relationship. So if you could help us understand that at the least, that would be awesome. And that's nothing incriminating towards yourself because it's not pertaining to you. So if you could help us understand that.
Jodi, we're going to do this. You asked for your attorney, and we'll leave it at that. We'd like to maybe talk to you later when you have your attorney here present,
Absolutely.
and we'll
He
go
made
down
an
there. Okay.
appointment at 4 on
He made
Friday
an appointment
here.
with here at 4.
He talked to the officer
Okay.
and said, "Can we make a time?" And he said out loud, "Do not talk to them."
And you are, idiot.
Okay. Well, I'll talk and see if we can schedule that, and maybe that's just something we just do with your attorney. Okay. Do you have any questions for us? I can answer in the meantime.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. Appreciate your time. We'll have you hang tight in here, and we'll come back and get you, and we'll be on our way. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna have you stand up, all right? Thank you. Go ahead and face this officer. Go ahead and place your hand on top of your head. You know, your finger, please. Thank you. Just put your hands on top of your head. You're good. Look to your left. Okay. Thank you.
Hey, Friday is not going to work for the interview, but I got Jessica. She's going to get a card. We can schedule another day. We'll keep that Monday meeting for that interview.
Oh, no.
So someone will call it if you want. We'll get you a card when you can get with Adam and schedule that. Okay.
How do I schedule that? If you guys are on the phone.
We'll give you a card with the phone number. And then, yeah, you can call Adam and have Adam call us, and we can schedule it, or you can call us and schedule it.
Okay. Just gonna do another quick check. Another eye search here. Nothing in your pockets? You have nothing on you at all? Okay, let's go ahead. You can go out the front door to my vehicle out there. Yeah. We'll put her on the right side. Hey, Jess? Jessica? Hey, I'm calling. Trying to put her in there. Wait.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, go ahead. Judy, this right side of the vehicle, please. Okay. Hop on in. I'll help you if you need.
I had a crash on the right side, so my shoulder's screwed up.
Okay. Just be careful then. I'm got you right here as much as I can.
Would it
You want
feel more
double cuff?
comfortable? Yeah.
Put 2 cups on it. Go ahead and step on out. I got you.
I landed on my
So
shoulder.
he's gonna.
Come on out one more.
We're gonna double cuff you so that you have more room for your shoulders. So he's
Okay.
gonna take one of your hands out. Okay. When he does that, I want you to place that hand on your head for me.
I mean, there's one for her. Yeah. Just trying to figure out which one would be easier. Okay, put that on top of your head. Thank you. Hold that one there. I'm going to just dip the cup so it made it a little wider so your arms are back. Okay, go ahead and bring it back down. Bring this one back down. Okay. So now look how wide that is. Better? Okay. Let me double lock it so it doesn't get any tighter. Okay, go ahead and just put it back. I got you. As much as I can. Hey, sorry, let me go to the other side.
Yeah.
Go back. We got it. Yep. Good. Okay. We'll be right back, okay?
Okay.
You got it?
I just have a few more for you too.
Do you have an extra set of handcuffs?
Have some in my truck.
You want to grab me one?
He needs.
Thank you. I'll get them back to you when I get back.
So this warrant, Officer Times, is going to your property, and that's going to be given to you.
That's the property. I'll make sure of that.
Second, I don't believe they will give you the number.
One bucket for one, one bucket for the other. I'll make sure to go there was a pickup box to make sure anything else. Oh, do you want it? Give it a right there. Yes, I'll make sure they get it.
So you'll be able to
Let's go.
Not the door while you hold us.
All right, step up, please. Thank you. Go and face that officer. Put your hand on top of your head, please. Analyze your fingers. Thank you. And put on top of your head. Look to your left. Thank you. I just don't want to hit you in the head. I see what they call. Okay. Go down. Mark, are these the ones that locked on the outside?
Oh, right there. Okay,
yeah, I got them. I know you got searched already. I don't, by Bates, you don't have anything in your pockets at all, right? You have just these ones only? Okay. Okay. All right, let's go. Back. Up the stairs. We'll go out the front door that way.
Hey, just hang on one second right here in the lobby, okay?
Okay.
Her and Jodi have two totally different personalities. It is crazy. Sorry, I'm muting myself again, just to watch them, how they interact with the police officers separately.
Mace, you want to let you know what criminal charges for, so you're under arrest. It's going to be 2 counts, second-degree felony of child abuse or neglect, okay? Do you understand that or no? Are you okay? I'm wondering if there's like a medical clearance that needs to, like, do you need medical attention before you go to the jail? Okay. All right, well, we'll have you, as soon as she gets down here, we'll bring you out, okay?
Okay.
Have you ever been arrested before? I'm just concerned about you. I know you don't believe that. I've had an opportunity to talk to your husband and kind of worried about your circumstances and obviously your children as well. But you're sure you don't need medical attention or anything like that? Soda. Soda. I got soda in 2 years. Why did you start today? I don't know. It's all really good. I don't feel too good right now drinking that soda. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens later tonight. It's okay. I will say it works out because I worked out for 2 hours today. So I earned to buy 3 sodas.
Yes, you did.
Now I'm sweating it off.
It's so hot downstairs.
Oh, it is.
I found the AC
everywhere.
unit finally, so I turned it down.
Oh, down there?
Mm-hmm. It was 78.
Her house ain't that bad.
Oh, dude, it was bad.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, we probably.
Are they going in the same car? Southwest Jeff, did you see the night before last New Mexico let that guy go? Tucson almost did too last night.
You do another
Search.
content, yeah.
It's not wearing or anything, but I'm just gonna make sure you don't have anything in your pockets. And you're not wearing anything else under this, correct?
No, man.
Spandex? Nothing? You don't remember what you're in? Okay. I just want to make sure that you don't have anything. Just wipe my stance a little bit for me. Yep. Thank you. Okay. So I just spoke. You can turn to face me. So I just spoke with Jodi, but you both are under arrest right now for child abuse, and you'll have 2 counts of that: one for Eve and one for Russell. Okay. For the malnourishment, you guys are in direct custody of those kids. Okay.
Stupid. That was about stupid. She just said their names. Why are y'all redacting everything if you're just going to say their names right here on camera?
Do you have any questions for me at this time? No questions? Okay, you can hop in.
You got it.
So if you would your feet as far forward as possible, don't worry about it.
You'll have 6 complaints.
Just so you know, I am entertaining Miranda rights before.
Okay, now, guys, this is the interview of Kevin, who is Ruby's husband.
We start. We're just kind of ask you a few questions about your involvement. Okay, so first, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be held against you in the court of law. Okay, you have the right to an attorney or to have him or her present while questioning. If you cannot afford to hire one, one will be hired to represent you. If you decide to answer questions, you can stop at any time. Okay, do you understand your rights?
I do.
Okay, do you wish to speak to me now?
Well, I want to pick up my kids.
How about this? We're going to ask you some questions, and if you don't want to answer them, you just say, hey, man, I'm not going to answer that.
Sure.
And
You just say, hey, I'm not going to talk. That's not beneficial to you, and then we're done. We're nowhere, and we're nowhere. And
Sure.
you understand that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so just for starters, what was your full name?
Kevin William Franke.
How to spell that?
KEVINWILLIAM FRANKE.
And what's your date of birth? What's a good address for you?
I'm not comfortable giving my address right now.
Okay, but you do live in Springville?
I do.
How long have you lived in Springville for?
I moved there in 2007 with my family, so
And how many?
17 years.
17. And how many kids do you have, Kevin?
I have 6 kids.
And what are their names?
Hello, everyone. Did you hit that like button for me, please? Yeah, well, she knows that the party is over.
Some of them are teenagers, 2 adults.
So are they all living with you, or?
No, I haven't seen them for over a year.
Any of them?
No, none of them.
For a year?
For a year.
Okay.
I've been in a separation.
Because she's in a relationship with Jodi. She's divorcing Kevin so she can be with Jodi.
From who?
From wife and family.
What's your wife's name?
Ruby.
Ruby. When's the last time you saw Ruby?
The last time I saw her
Yeah.
was the 18th of this month. We met she requested me to sign over vehicles, or the titles to the vehicle that she drives, that were all in my name.
When's the last time you physically saw Russell or Eve?
The day that I moved out, July 24th, 2022.
24th of 2022.
Or July 25th, July 25th.
So it's my understanding that at least home here in Kayenta and Ivans, have you been to that home?
No.
You've not been to that home?
No, I don't know. I don't know anything that's been going on.
Like, this is good, man. Like, I would love to be able to help you out with this, and like, I'm seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, because I'm unaware of your involvement in what's really going on. So for you to say that you're unaware of the status of your kids kind of makes, I know that sounds kind of crummy to you, but it sounds kind of good to me. Like, who lives in that home with your, is it ex-wife? Is it currently a separated wife? Like, who lives in that home with your children?
To be honest, I don't know. I know that she's there with 4 of the children, and our 2 older children have moved out.
They're not at your home in Springville? And I'm not trying to trip you up. I can see you're hesitant to talk to me. I understand that.
Well, where I live, no,
Yeah.
I haven't seen them for over a year.
Okay. That's tough. I can only imagine how that feels, man. I got kids. And not seeing them for that long, that would tear a piece of my heart out.
Of age to drive. Does she drive?
I don't know.
Okay.
Like I said, I know nothing that's going on
So-
in their lives or anything going on.
How did you find out that you needed to come here to 55 North Main Street?
I received a message that I needed to come pick up my kids from the police department in Highlands.
And who is that message from?
Well, I prefer not to say right now.
It would just help us a lot.
I'll try to figure out who reached out to you, because it makes sense that that would happen. I'm just not aware of anyone who did that from our department.
Right, and I'm not comfortable saying right now who reached out to me.
Okay.
Okay.
So you haven't seen any of your kids in over a year, you said?
That's correct.
And then, what was the last time you saw her? How old is she now?
15.
She's 16. Okay. And then when all the kids left, Ruby took all of them?
Yeah, she stayed in the house and I moved out.
Okay. And did you ever try to reach out to the kids, drop by the home, or was there?
I honored the no separation boundary that we agreed to.
So what
Or
was
no
your separation?
contact boundary, excuse me.
Did you have a no contact order in place?
Order? No, this was between my wife.
So what did Ruby ask of you when you separated?
What did she ask of me?
Did she ask you not to contact the kids?
Ruby invited me to leave the home while I thought about the choices that I've made in my life and the way that I've treated her.
Okay.
And so I left.
And how long had you and Ruby been married before?
We were married in 2000.
So about 22 years?
When we separated, we were going on 22 years. Yes.
Okay. And during your marriage, how was disciplining your kids? How would you discipline your kids?
Yeah, I'm not going to answer that question.
Okay, that's fine.
Have you been since separated or since they lived here in the city of Ivins? Have you communicated with your wife regarding like discipline with your kids or their care or their physical well-being?
No.
So is she doing this on her own, just telling you how your kids are?
She's not telling me anything about the kids.
Who's this female Jodi that your wife lives with?
Her girlfriend.
Jodi.
She
Her
is
girlfriend.
a therapist and a life coach.
Say it, Kevin.
Do you respect her?
Do I respect her? Yeah, I think she is a very honest, truthful person. Yes.
Okay. You place value on Jodi?
I don't know what that means.
Like, do you value what she says and how she treats? Is your wife a client of hers? Is your wife a partner of hers? Is your wife a roommate with her? If your kids are living in her house, is what I'm trying to say.
I'm not aware of that, but I know that they've been in business for the last year filming.
Business.
Ruby and Jodi. They film podcasts, and so every week a podcast goes up and I listen to it.
What's the name of it?
Connections with an X.
Like CON.
CONNEXIONS. Yeah.
And then, like, do you support them in that role and doing that and having?
Do I support them in the business?
Yeah, like do you support them and think that what they're doing is a good thing, or?
Yeah, I support their business efforts. I think it's a good thing.
Are you involved with their business efforts, or?
No.
Okay. So just Ruby and Jodi.
Okay. In the business?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And were you involved in the 8 passengers account with your family?
Yes. I was in the videos, and if that's what you mean.
I briefly learned about this 2 hours ago.
So did Ruby more so do the videos for the family? And how long did you guys do that for?
She started the channel in 2015, and as far as I'm aware, from the time I left, the last video she uploaded was towards the end of 2021.
Okay.
And I'm not aware of anything she's done since our separation. I don't visit 8 passengers anymore.
Chapter of your life that's gone.
It's a past chapter, yeah.
So how do you and Ruby communicate? Just Through text, phone call?
Through text, and if there's anything considered an emergency, we agreed that we would communicate through a phone call.
Okay. And do you know her phone number off the top of your head?
Off the top of my head,
No. He doesn't have anything on the top of his head, lady.
no.
Okay. No worries. So how often would you guys communicate while she was down here?
Well, I don't know how often or long she was down here. We've communicated maybe 4 times in 2023 since January.
So are you aware of how she disciplines the kids or how she handles
No.
the kids with behavioral issues or anything like that?
No.
So you're unaware of how she does that?
Yes.
Okay. Are you aware of the physical condition of your children?
No. No. I've chosen to trust my wife with the children.
Wrong answer.
That was part of the agreement of our separation.
Bonk.
Is that you allow her to physically provide for the needs of the child? You're just removed from that? I mean, you pay support. I know this is personal questions, but
Yes, my job was to financially provide for
I was trying to figure out like how much of a role do you play in the caretaking of specifically of those 2 kids?
I pay the bills.
Okay.
With my job, I provide the money, goes into a shared bank account, and that's my only involvement.
Okay. Like, there's a whole bunch of things I want to talk to you about, but I still can't get over the fact that someone notified you to come here to pick up your kids. My guess is, was that Jodi?
I'm not going to answer that question.
Okay.
All I'll say is,
Well,
someone
you said you
notified
trusted her. You said that you think that she's not. I asked you if you placed value on her, but you obviously.
she is an honest. I know her to be an honest and a trustworthy individual. And so, yeah, I trust her. And I received a communication that and so I left immediately from my job and drove down here. That's all I know. I've come to pick up my kids and to take them home with me.
Do you have any? Is there custodial paperwork that says that you're like there's no custodial paperwork denying you of rights, correct?
There's no custodial paperwork at all.
Period. So the kids are yours.
They are mine.
Okay.
Yes. This wasn't just a verbal agreement between my wife and I when we separated last year.
Well, what questions do you have?
Oh, I want to know what's going on and why I was asked to come down and pick up my 2 kids.
Well,
And a lot of that kind of hinges on who asked you, because if we had been the one, like, I'm not going to say you fit, but I'm confident a cop didn't call you because we wouldn't have wanted you down here at this point in our investigation. So having said that, I think it's time we be honest with you, right?
Sure. No, and I didn't lie.
You're
Someone contacted me, but I don't want to
You said
say
someone
without.
from your office, but okay.
Well, I don't recall saying something from my office.
Our office.
No.
someone, yeah, so we don't know who called you. So if we knew who called you, then we could help you,
It would make more sense.
but
Well, I don't know the legal ramifications of implicating individuals who contacted me. And so without a lawyer here, I don't want to answer that question.
that's okay. But you want to know specifics of the case, which we can't share because it's under investigation. So
I see.
yeah, so we would like to ask questions about where you found out, but we'll respect that if you don't want to share that information. But I am curious, you guys had the previous 8 Passengers YouTube channel. You guys got a lot of heat for neglect and child abuse. A lot of people commented those things on there. Why were they commenting those things?
That's a good question. We had a son who was acting out in very selfish behavior.
Just Chad or
Yes, this was Chad. And none of this is strange or odd. You could get on YouTube and find out all sorts of stuff on this.
It's like a double-edged sword.
Yeah, the question is, what do you believe, right? There was even an article written in Newsweek magazine in 2020 on it, was it Newsweek? No, Business Insider, where we were interviewed, and we were pretty straightforward when we talked about it, and we shared our piece in that. Basically, it boils down to he was being very cruel and mean to his siblings that he shared a room with, and so we removed him from the room. And we said, you can sleep anywhere you want. Sleep on the couch, sleep on the pull-out bed, sleep on the floor for all we care, but you're not sleeping in that room with your brother.
Sleep on
He
the
chose to
floor
sleep on
for
a beanbag.
all we care.
So 9 months later, he had made a lot of changes in his life. And he was ready to, and we had moved by that time. And so we had a new house, and he was ready.
Yeah. Back on my BS, I was just about to say that they made him sleep on a sleeping bag for 7 months. No bed, nothing, a sleeping bag.
Ready to move into his own bedroom, made a video about it. And in the video, he mentioned something to the effect of, I've been sleeping for 9 months on a beanbag. And that is what all the uproar was about.
What did you guys do to help, like, with his behavioral issues? Is that something you and Ruby talked about together? And then did you? Helping you discover yourself and fix behavioral issues and things like that. Is that something you and Ruby sought out to help correct, like, some of the things?
Yes,
Okay.
And I supported it. And so together we held boundaries for our son to support his choosing honest and responsible choices. And when he chose honest and responsible choices consistently is when he began to get his privileges back. And that was
parenting, right?
Well, that was the uproar, right?
Yeah.
And so, but yes, through 2000.
Of course, they redact a lot of information. Sorry, you guys. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you hit that like button for me, guys. Thank you. I really appreciate it so very much. They should have got life.
Contact with him because I'm honoring the no contact separation boundary that I agreed to with my wife, but I understand that he's 18, living on his own somewhere in Provo and working and supporting himself.
What other kids went down to visit Jodi?
What other kids?
Yeah, did you send any of the other kids down to
we
spend
didn't
time with
send
Jodi?
down to spend time with Jodi. They would meet on Zoom.
That makes sense.
Yeah, we were in the spring stuff. Well, even in 2019, we would shoot.
So when did Ruby and Jodi, to your knowledge, like, decide to collaborate, come together and mesh life? Because that's what's happening.
Well, they decided to start a business in 2021.
So while you and Ruby were together?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but there were, at that period, it was pretty nebulous. I don't know.
What's that word mean?
It was just a lot of talk, and there weren't like solid plans. It was, let's start by, doing podcasts together. And then that's all I know. I know that they published a book together recently. You can find on Amazon. It's The Secret.
Was business thriving, like life was good between those two?
Well, not that I was aware.
Well, at some point, and again, I'm not digging into your life, but I'm trying to understand this. At some point,
We took,
they kick you out.
when you talk about a business, thriving,
Uh-huh.
in terms of business and money, when we stopped 8 passengers on YouTube, we lost 90% of our income. So we said that business was thriving. In my perspective, no.
Got it.
I don't think it ever was. After that.
Was that part of your guys' reason for separation after you had 8 passengers?
Was that part of the reason? The reasons are because of ways that I treated my wife, and some of my own addictions that I was working through and seeking help on with pornography.
Thank you for sharing that.
And I've made some wonderful progress.
Like, is that something you came to the realization that you needed help and weren't doing things right, or is that something that like Jodi helped you guys recognize that maybe Ruby needed more? I'm trying to understand her involvement in your guys' life. She's my focus, so just be honest.
I understand, and I can perceive that. Jodi and Ruby have a close relationship, and Jodi saw the need for me to get help. And frankly, I agree. The space has been exactly what I need to face my own addictions and receive the support and help that I've needed. And so this space has been very, very good for me.
So when you stated that you and Ruby had this no contact that you guys just verbally agreed upon, was that an idea given by Jodi that she recommended you guys have that space and not contact one another?
I'm not aware of that. The invitation for me to leave and take space was from my wife.
But that was while Jodi and Ruby were friends and collaborating and doing podcasts, and sure. Well, you're the custodial parent of the children. I don't see why we can't explain to you why we're involved. So I don't recall the exact time, but sometime before 11 o'clock today, we received a phone call from 911 on our dispatch that a 12 to 13-year-old boy was knocking on doors in a neighborhood asking for food and water, that he was severely emaciated, that he had...
What is emaciated?
Skinny,
Oh
swollen,
my gosh.
malnutrition, not enough food, not enough water to sustain life. So he had...
I'm sorry, what?
He had duct tape on his extremities, on his hands, on his ankles, and those were covering rope burns that were used to tie him down. Take a second and think about what I just said. That's the condition of your son.
You don't care.
Given that information, your son was taken to the hospital. A warrant has been applied and granted by the Department of Child and Family Services to remove from your wife's care. So no one right now is going to have access to these two children based on their physical condition. Do you understand that?
I understand.
Would you condone that behavior?
Yes.
Would I condone that behavior?
That's my job. My job is to find out your knowledge of the treatment of these
Based on your
precious
description,
children.
no. But again, I don't know the details, or I don't know what's going on, but as you described that sounds
Horrible. Disgusting.
Dude, he just found out all of these horrible things that happened to his children, and he's just standing there rubbing his head in his face. Now, ooh.
No human being should be treated like that. That's my thoughts.
Oh, yeah, okay, is his response.
We're gonna sit here for a second, okay? We're gonna go out and talk. I'm not saying you're still not free to go. Are you under arrest? Absolutely not. We just have lots of questions that we need to figure out. Lots. Okay?
okay, because
Your children are under medical care right now.
and what does that mean?
And it means that you don't have access to them. My understanding is that they are, what is that?
They're in the custody of DCFS.
And they will be for the next 7
There's a medical hold on them right now. So for at least the next 72 hours, based on our understanding.
At least the next 70.
They're in observation, they're being watched.
DCFS is gonna provide you that information and they can better answer your questions along those lines. That's handled through them. Okay, so we'll be back.
So I want you to think about some things though.
I don't know.
Listen to me, listen to me. I want you to think about that for a minute. So I have no idea where they're at.
Oh, I don't either. But,
Okay, we're gonna hop out here, we'll be back in a minute, okay? That's still recording audio and video. okay?
Damn,
So
why
if
you
don't
reminded him that?
sure.
I was hoping he wouldn't say nothing about it and he would catch him. You mad because your revenue's gone, dude? Are you mad your wife left you for a woman?
What's going to happen with my wife? I love my wife.
I don't know. I'm being honest with you, I don't know.
I love her so much I ain't been with her in a year.
Charges against my wife.
Possibly. I think given the circumstances, that's highly appropriate, but again, I don't know your wife. I was hoping to gain some insight from you, but I don't necessarily know that that's something you wanted to,
I trust her.
a road you wanted to travel down with me, so.
It's all without legal representation.
Yeah, all right, I get it.
But I love my wife and I trust my wife. And so, I mean, this feels like getting run over by a steam truck while you're sharing with me today.
Yeah, I can tell you're caught off guard.
I thought I was just coming here to pick up my kids, and for what, I don't know what or why, but. And I was planning on taking them back with me and just.
I mean, I'd love to have a candid conversation with you, I just don't know how it's gonna be received by you. I don't know you, but I can tell you my perception of how this happened.
Well, I'm
Whether you value
interested
that or not, it's.
look, I'm interested in facts, but again, at the same time, I'm interested in all the facts.
But you understand our facts. Our facts are that you have a child. that is emaciated, malnutrition, and has marks.
He doesn't
I
even
didn't
seem
spend
to
any time with him,
care.
Sergeant Tobler did.
He doesn't seem to care. Didn't they just tell him all of the wounds and the rope tied around him and the flesh smelling? Like, didn't they just tell him all this? And he's just like, ugh, whatever.
Have you spent time with her?
He didn't spend
I
time with
have
her.
not.
She was requested to go to the hospital along with Russell, based on their condition.
Folks, I don't know what to do. Like, I want to. You realize that I have a picture of my family on my wall, and I look at it every day, and I work every day, so I can get back to my family.
It's not about you. It's about your children who were abused and neglected. So what if you have a picture of them on your wall? You still treated them like shit.
Save my family, and everything you're sharing to me just sounds like a made-up story. Like I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, it sounds like a horror movie.
Yeah, you're right. It does, doesn't it? But you still love her.
And I get you're all doing your jobs. I get it. I understand. And this is my life. I just want my kids. I just want my kids. I just want my family. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why these things that you described happen. I don't know. It's almost like I want to say, I'm sorry, you must have somebody else. Because it's like, am I in the right conference room here? No. That's what I feel like. It's real, you know. I'm having a hard time accepting this and dealing with this. I mean, you're telling me that you're taking my kids from me.
Yep. You ain't
need
had them anyway. You ain't seen them in a year.
to transfer the titles of the car to my name, you know, or we're going to cancel these credit cards and stuff like that. So just stuff related to the finances really is our only communications over the past year.
Sure.
We've had zero communications regarding the kids. I've had no reason to.
Why though? Why, Kevin? You have a beautiful picture on the wall in your office of your family. You love them so much. Why then, Kevin? Why?
Believe or think that there was anything going on. For all intents and purposes, I woke up this morning looking at the picture of my family and making my commitment today, as I do every day, that I'm going to live an honest, a virtuous, and a responsible life today. And what you're sharing with me just feels like a sucker punch.
You think? How you think they feel? How do you think those little children, your blood?
If I still have a family.
No, you don't.
And
And you didn't have one for a year.
I just. I don't know what my plan. My plan is to go to God.
Sure.
And to figure this out.
Right.
And, I am just heartbroken with what you all are sharing with me. And I feel responsible.
Pick up your vibrating phone off the table.
It hurts. And I wish I was a better husband.
All about you again. What about your children? They could smell flesh coming from the rotten wounds, from the rope and tape. What about them? Cry for them, not yourself.
I know you're all doing your jobs. And I know you all have the best interest of my kids in mind. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Thanks. That means a lot.
I just want my kids back. I want my family back.
Nope.
My wife back.
Nope, Jodi got him. Why you want him back now? A whole year later.
Okay.
You didn't want him for a whole year. Now you want him back?
I don't want this to sound rude, Kevin. We've got some things to do. We're not kicking you out. But the building's closed. Okay. You're gonna be okay driving home? I really am worried about you. Okay. Do your best, breathe. Gotta pull over the side of the road. Do you drink Red Bulls?
Want your water to go, Kevin?
All right, let's see what this is. This is Cops Find Safe. I think there's no audio for this one. And then next is the calls. So this is the safe in Jodi's house. Oh my God. If I find out they put them kids in that safe, are you kidding me right now, dude? I need audio. Turn y'all audio on. Oh shit. What's in a kitchen? Policeman, I need some audio. Yeah, why do y'all think it's like that and looks like that? Look, it's just like, it looks like a little doctor's room, doesn't it? They locked them kids in that thing. I mean, I'm sure they don't have a safe door for decoration. Maybe they do. Now we know why they look malnourished. Y'all, I wish they had audio. I'm sorry. What are they trying to look in the back for? I just see anything behind it or something. Wow. Is that fold down bed? Yeah, fold down bed. I wonder if they even let him use it. We need audio. At least they didn't have to soil themselves. Thank God they have a toilet. Thank God they don't have to go through this anymore. That's a huge empty house, you guys. Are you serious, Richie? Yeah, but you have babies back on my BS with him. So, Richie, that's a safe room for one person, huh? I wonder how long the audio comes back. 3 more minutes with no audio, you guys. Oh my God! Holy crap, does it ever end? Wow. No audio, no video either, apparently. Was that a hose pipe or rope? I could see that, Richie. The cops are probably using language they don't want us to hear. Yes, I did, Rapper. Panic room. Panic room. Is that the closet where you go pray? If I'm wrong, don't laugh at me. Yeah, they're really nice people.
We're also hearing from Ruby Franke herself just one day after her arrest.
This is a call from and paid for by Ruby Franke, Purgatory Correctional. An inmate at Purgatory Correctional Facility. This call is subject to recording and monitoring. If you don't wish to talk, hang up now.
After less than 24 hours in jail, Ruby makes a call to her husband, Kevin, who reminds her the call is being recorded.
Yeah.
So you know that this phone call is being recorded.
Yes, that will come out. That will come out.
Almost right away, Ruby asks whether she's making the headlines.
Are we in the news?
It sounds like at least you're in the news. I don't know about me. I don't know what he's talking about. But
In early conversations with Kevin, Ruby calls her arrest a witch hunt.
I'm wondering if they went to Sherry to ask her questions.
I don't know.
These bookings are public.
I know they are. And a couple months ago, Business Insider was reaching out to me, and I ignored their email. But I'm going dark.
This is a witch
I'm not at BYU. I'm not at BYU anymore, so I don't know how they're going to find me.
Yeah, maybe it was a blessing. This is a witch hunt. The devil's been after me for years.
At first, Franke doesn't show any remorse, saying children can be full of evil.
Adults have a really hard time understanding that children can be full of evil and what that takes to fight it.
Adults can have a really hard time understanding that kids can be evil.
See what it takes to fight evil. It's not the person you're fighting. And it can look.
How about
like
they
something
are
it's
how
not.
you raise them?
You've been there, you know that. And so I don't know any adults who are going to see the truth. So I'm calm about this, and I just pray that you'll hang in there.
The next day, Ruby speaks with Kevin again and even defends Jodi Hildebrandt.
The most upsetting thing is that I am completely misunderstood. That is the most horrible feeling. Like my own family misunderstands me, they misinterpret me, and poor Jodi, they misinterpret her, they misunderstand her. She puts her neck out on the line for people, and then they get mad at her. I mean, it is just horrendous. It's horrendous.
Ruby seems to realize the legal implications ahead, but still blames the entire situation on Satan.
He's 35 years in this, and he said, even if you are acquitted and are released, they will place legal restrictions on your access to the under 18 children.
I figured such.
You figured such.
God told me.
You should have known such.
God told me when I was driving before I called you. I didn't have any information.
Who does this sound like, y'all? Who does this sound like on this phone call?
I didn't know anything, and the Spirit said, your children are going to be removed. And I cried out loud. I'm like, no, I'm not done. I'm not ready. And God told me I'm done. And I just, so. Satan has taken everything away from me that I love. And I'm a good woman. I don't do naughty things. I don't do naughty things.
I'm a good woman and I don't do naughty things, and the devil did it. It's all the devil's fault.
I'm a really good girl.
But the next time we hear from Ruby in late October, she's changed her tune.
I can't say everything that I want to say, but I really did feel it. I really did feel like the arrest was like a rescue. Like I just felt so many angels around, and It was like a relief. It was just really kind of surreal, kind of strange. But I just keep thinking about, President Nelson's talk, think celestial, and I know he's said in the past about myopic thinking, and he's given a lot of context to, how small this life really is, and I'm just so grateful. How many people, would go to the grave not having woken up. And I want to use this time, and I am using this time to change, to repent, and to do what I can to let the Lord know I love him and my family. And I've had many experiences here to kind of guide my thinking.
A month later, Ruby says time away from Jodi has cleared her head.
I could not come out of this without his grace, without his mercy, without his help. This has been the strangest and the most miraculous intervention. It put everybody where they needed to be. It separated me from Jodi, so I'm not hearing her. And I think just being gone and not hearing her has cleared a lot of things up for me.
Ruby and Jodi both pleaded guilty to all charges against them in December of last year. Ruby is caught on a recording discussing the pleas and future court proceedings.
Did you see that Jodi pled guilty today?
I did see that. Yes, is that a relief for you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a big relief. It's a big relief. There would have been positive the other way too had she not pled guilty. There's enough evidence that she could have been convicted for life, but that would have been messy. It would have been really messy, and the kids would have. So
So do you and her get the same outcome no matter what now, or is there a chance that it would be different?
that's a really good question. That's one that I've asked Lamar. No, we can still have different outcomes.
Ruby theorizes that Jodi pleaded guilty because she knew Ruby would testify against her and expected Jodi would lie about her mental health history.
She can lie on her paperwork, and she probably will. I don't think she's going to give them her history. But I think in the interview, it's going to be apparent that she's mentally ill. And so that will affect how long someone, because they're looking, how repentant are you? How much responsibility are you taking? How are you aware that what you've done is wrong? And she's not. The only reason she pled is because she didn't want to do life. She knew I would testify.
Then Ruby reveals the last time she spoke to Jodi was the day of her arrest.
When was the last time you talked to her? Was it that day?
Mm-hmm. It was when we were arrested. Yeah, I left early in the morning to go to a dentist appointment with Julie. We left at like 3 in the morning. And she called me sometime in the morning. And so I went back down. But when I got to the house, I mean, it looked like the movies. There was a red fire truck. There was a black van with tinted windows. There were 2 ambulances. There were 20 cop cars. I mean, it was.
Did you just sit in your car?
No, I pulled up and found a spot to park. She lives on a cul-de-sac. I parked in the cul-de-sac, and I walked up, and the driveway was just full of cops, and I just walked up to the cops. And they said, "Are you the mother?" And I nodded my head, and so they took me in and put me in the casita, and I sat there for a couple hours. I just sat there.
Ruby then explains that with time, she got a clearer picture of what really happened. But Ruby Franke's jailhouse calls aren't the only ones we're hearing. As Law and Crime's Elizabeth Milner explains, we also hear from Jodi Hildebrandt.
In the newly released jail phone calls, Ruby Franke's former business partner, Jodi Hildebrandt, is showing no remorse for the abuse inflicted upon Franke's children.
But it was like everything got taken out of the house and it's in a storage unit so that I could come to jail. It sounds crazy, but it really feels that way. And I don't know if I'm going to be like some kind of example, but when I get out of here, I have a story to tell, and I'm going to try to do everything I can to protect the children, because that's what's happening, is that kids are being just horribly abused. And instead of the kids, anyways, it's a story, but when you come up about it.
So what I'm saying is you're being crucified in public opinion, so your fear has to be super prepared. And the only way he's going to get prepared is if you push him and ride him.
Okay, I will. I'll call him today. He doesn't seem really animated. He seems like, the pictures are going to destroy you. And I'm like, we didn't do that. We didn't do that. Those pictures we did not do. He did that to himself, yes. Did we put that on him and then he rubbed around and cut himself? Yes. But we didn't do that.
In a later phone call, Hildebrandt can be heard visibly emotional, but still defending her actions.
Nightmare here, Janet. Nobody wants the truth. Nobody wants the truth. Nobody wants the truth because these kids, I told Doug, I woke up, the spirit told me, it's all the devil. I mean, you've seen him. I mean, I've known you, for 5 years? You've watched him come at me, come at me, come at me, come at me. And you're exactly right, because he knows I know what he's doing. And he uses all of us, the adults, the parents, that don't hold the kids accountable. So now it's abusive to make a kid sleep on the floor. It's abusive, or it's abusive. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You can't even raise your kids anymore.
In a February recorded call after Hildebrandt
This is
pleaded guilty,
ridiculous.
she refers to Bible
You're
scripture while
ridiculous.
leaving a coded message to a man she's speaking with on the phone.
So there's a section he's talking about the second coming. And, I'm coming from this place of, I was just getting ready to move, and all of a sudden I ended up in prison. Like, what in the world? And, one day you'll know all the details, and it'll all make sense. But if I could talk in code here. So he said, this is the Lord. So they asked him, when shall these things be? Like, when are these things going to come to pass? And so he starts talking to him about the last days. And he says that nation shall war against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And then he goes, but before all these that he just talked about, they shall lay their hands on you. Now, I have been praying for 5 months, like, explain this to me, like, what is going on? Like, I'm willing to go there, but please let me go right side up. Like, if you want me to be there because you want me to be there, then great. I will not resist it at all, but please help me understand. So I read this morning, and I just wept and wept and just thanked him and thanked him because it just all click. So he says, but before all these things, nation rising against nation, they shall lay their hands on you. And I'm like, and prosecute you.
And at one point, she said she's happy to go to prison.
And he says, and ye shall be betrayed by both parents and brethren and kinsfolk and friends. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what's going on. And some of you shall be caused to be put to death. And you shall be hated by all men for my name's sake. And then he goes on to say, and I never read that before, but like, I've never been in prison. But I just read that, and I just wept. I mean, the Spirit was like, he just said, this is you. So then I read in Mark. That was in Luke. And I read in Mark the same kind of thing, because the Gospels.
I'm gonna tell y'all a story real quick. This is almost over. Whenever I was younger, I was seeing this guy and he had just gotten out of jail. Well, his mom was into like the Bible and religion and stuff like that. So I started reading the Bible and she told me to start with the New Testament. So I did. And I called her and I'm like, my Bible's repeating itself. It's like saying the same thing in each one. And then she's like, it's because they all experienced it and it's each in their own words. I was like, okay, I'm an idiot.
They wrote similarly. So he said, now the brother shall betray the brother to death, and the father the son, like the father will betray the son. And the children shall rise up against their parents and shall cause them to be put to death. That statement right there is what's going on with me. The children shall rise up and put their parents to death, and you shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. I probably cried for an hour straight. Just everything clicked. And I said, I'm happy to go.
Wow.
Because if you continue to read the rest of the chapter, he's like, be grateful. If you're in this situation, be grateful because you're one of mine. And you will be saved. And this is so I have just been begging him, like, you've got to explain this to me. Like, I cannot logically figure out what's going on here. And that's it. That's what's going on in the spirit. I mean, when I feel the spirit, I have two physiological reactions. I get really like shaky, like I'm shivering, like I'm cold.
Does Lori Vallow let you borrow her portal? I know y'all are in different states, but she can just like part herself over there and then you can like send her back and keep it, and that way you can go see Ruby wherever she goes. Because that's what y'all sound like. Y'all sound like Lori Vallow and their little group over there.
Or I feel heat, like I have a fever run through me. And I was like burning up. It felt like I was burning up. And I was just shaking with gratitude, like, here's your answer. Here's what this is. But in 1 Peter chapter 4, between verses 12 and 19, I can't remember exactly how he says it, but he's like, when you have something happen to you and it just feels like it's random, it's not random. Like this is intentional. You're it's not just some crazy active events that's going on. This is like intentional. And that 1 Peter chapter 4 was another one of the footnotes to refer to, that reinforced all this other stuff. I'm like, okay, this isn't just some crazy random event. This has purpose. And then I connected it to my blessing. Because my blessing I've been reading like several times a day. And the blessing is pretty clear. My first paragraph of it says, these are words directly to you from your Heavenly Father. And according to your faith and diligence, they'll either be a comfort to you or they won't be. So however much diligence and faith you want to put in them. And then the next paragraph talks about, it says, you are a special spirit, chosen and reserved for these last days and sent forth to the earth in great clouds of glory to share the gospel and prepare the people for the return of the Savior. And it says, one of the reasons you were sent here is to share the gospel. The strongest message you will ever teach is the power of your example. And then he says, through the power of your example in the spoken word, he says, your tongue will be loosed, and you will be able to teach the gospel in far and distant nations. And then he says, through the power of your example and the spoken word, you will be a great tool in the hand of the Lord in teaching the gospel to many. So this whole paragraph about an example, an example, an example, I'm like, well, what's a better example than to go to prison unjustly and then go teach the gospel? Go teach the gospel. Like,
Ruby Franke, the former YouTuber turned convicted felon, now serving prison time for abusing her children in the name of religion. Franke documented it all in a journal, and we have the disturbing details in her own words. Thanks for joining me for Crime Fix. I'm Anjanette Levy. If you thought that the abuse that Ruby Franke's children suffered was bad, I can assure you it's much, much worse than anything that you imagined. Franke documented the abuse and justified it by claiming her children have Satan within them and that
Oh my
demons have
God.
visited them. The journal starts in May of 2023 with a note stating that Jodi Hildebrandt received a blessing from a temple president.
Here we
What
go.
that blessing was and what it pertains to is somewhat unclear. In late June, Franke wrote that her son refused to do wall sits. He says he is done. The following day, Franke wrote that the boy is to stay outside, sleep outside, only to come in to use the bathroom and shower. After that, several pages are black. They're redacted. So there are pages and pages of information.
See, this is what I was talking about right here. It is so, oh, I don't even want to talk about it. It is so gross that they can't even show it on the page. The whole page is blacked out. Not just the paragraph, the whole damn page. And look how many, there's more than 3, I'm pretty dang on sure.
That we're not seeing. The journal picks up in July as Ruby Franke's journal details the horror that her 12-year-old son and 10-year-old daughter endured over the next 3 months. I won't be using their names as they are the victims of horrific
Everybody
abuse.
else did.
Franke wrote about her son. Turns 12 tomorrow. I never envisioned him still being 12 and pooping and peeing himself. Satanic choices leads one to become destitute, even in the most affluential homes. Then the next day, on her son's birthday, Franke wrote about her daughter and son being in so much deviant behavior, they won't control their bodily functions. They're both furious. Their selfish, sinful lifestyle is being intervened upon. I told R he emulates a snake. He slithers and sneaks around looking for opportunities when no one is watching, and then he scurries. If he wants to emulate the Savior, then he needs to be 100% obedient. Ruby Franke then said that her son lies all the time. He's a compulsive liar. This entire experience is a shock
Sure,
to my
it's your
system.
fault. No way.
She wrote that her son has a cold, dead heart, and he's always been able to get what he wants. On July 14th, Franke wrote that her daughter, quote, refuses to work, screams, has her hair shaved off. Franke repeatedly shaved her daughter's hair when she didn't comply with her demands throughout the summer. The girl was only 10.
Who does that
Can you
remind
imagine?
you of?
You shave off your daughter's hair because she refused to work. And we don't know exactly what kind of work she was refusing to
Well,
do,
not
but we
work,
can
but
only
shave
imagine given what we have learned about the abuse. This was just the beginning of the summer of hell for these kids. Franke said she told her son that he needed to divulge everything, that he needed to pray and to fast. He's workable and calm for a bit, and then angry and defiant the next. The only consistent thing about R is that he lies. That's what Franke wrote about her son. She followed up by writing that her son told her he would rather have a glass of water than have her as a mom. Ruby Franke then described July 11th of last year as a big day for evil. She sent her son to stand in the sun with a sun hat, but the boy's demons, she said, wanted to stand in the shade. So Franke said she got a cactus poker to push the boy into the sun. Later, she poured mop water on him to cool him off. The children were forced to fast, but really it sounded more like they were being starved. They were continually told that they were lying and that they needed to repent for exactly what? No one really knows. If you can engage a weak-minded soul in a physical activity of obedience, you can begin to break the bond of Satan made with the weak. Ruby Franke wrote that Jodi Hildebrandt volunteered to help her with that. They planned to buy a ranch in Arizona where the children could do more hard work
Thank God
to
you're
rid
not here.
themselves of Satan. At one point, Franke wrote, the kids need a good kick from a horse and a cactus to run into.
What?
There were times when Franke and Hildebrandt placed Franke's daughter in a closet and refused to give her water if she screamed. Quote, she screamed for another family, water, food, care, love, a manipulative ploy.
Oh my gosh.
You are loved. That's what Ruby Franke wrote about her 10-year-old daughter. The
She
girl was
screamed
also
for
made
love.
to jump into a cactus. Franke said her daughter was actually cuddling with it, calling it inhuman. In late July, Franke wrote about her daughter. We put her in the closet to contemplate what to do. She screams much of the day. She doesn't get water if she screams. She refuses to eat. The next day, she wrote, Jodi wakes from a dream. God lets her know that we have done everything we can to get her attention. They also forced the children to pull weeds from a cemetery for hours at a time and to pick up glass. Franke's 12-year-old son was forced to jump on a mini trampoline for long periods of time and to balance on one foot. On August 27th, toward the end of the children's torturous captivity, Ruby Franke wrote about her son. Spent the 22nd through the 25th peeing and pooping. He is out of control. He is defiant, abusive, mean, willing to try anything that would grab his attention. I whipped him with a belt yesterday. E2. Franke then said her daughter peed all over Jodi's garage floor, screamed at her, and lied to her.
He
She is out
probably
of
didn't
control.
let her
How
go.
did you get the ropes on you?
3 days later, on August 30th, the children had reached their breaking point. The 12-year-old boy escaped from Hildebrandt's house and went to a neighbor for help. With me to discuss the horrific information in Ruby Franke's journal is somebody who's an expert in psychology and psychiatry. He is Dr. Daniel Bober. He's a forensic psychiatrist. Dr. Bober, you read through this just as I did. Your first thoughts on what you've read?
Absolutely horrific. Heavily redacted, but the details that are in there are very disturbing.
Why do you think it was so heavily redacted? I mean, we have pages and pages of black. I mean, we have black boxes, of course, but then we have pages full of black. Why would the law enforcement officials in the courts redact that information?
Maybe too personal, too disturbing, as if the rest isn't disturbing. It's just, maybe there were things in there that they just felt were too intimate to share. It's very hard to know.
I'm trying to imagine a world, I'm a mom. I'm trying to imagine a world in which I look at my children, ages 12 and 9 or 10, somewhere in that range, and I think to myself, Satan is within you, and in order to drive Satan out of you, my friend Jodi here, she's going to volunteer to take you children, you young kids, to her house, and you're going to be starved. You're going to be forced to do physical labor, collecting weeds and glass and what have you from a cemetery for hours at a time, being poked with a cactus, held underwater, forced to stand out in the sun, because that is going to drive Satan out of you. Where is that coming from in Ruby Franke's mind?
Well, ironically, it actually happens to be the parents who are often the perpetrators with these victims of abuse. 1 in 7 children in the last year were abused, about 600,000 last year. And we know that the parents are most likely going to be the perpetrators. But in this particular case, clearly there was something that was not right with this woman, whether she had her own abuse, her own mental illness. I've never obviously examined her, so I cannot say. But there are certainly people that have what we call an authoritarian form of discipline that's based on coercion, control, sort of breaking the will of the child. But this takes it to a new level. So clearly there is some form of mental illness going on with this woman. We obviously don't know what it is. We don't know her background, her trauma, maybe her own maltreatment. But clearly this is not just a normal form of parenting.
This is going on
Thanks for
with,
pointing
or
that
was
out.
going on, I should say, with the
We didn't
12-year-old
know.
and the 10-year-old. I'm not going to use their names. They are victims of abuse. There were other children, but it was these two children were singled out. We know there are older children and then children younger. Can you think in your mind as to why these two children were singled out for this abuse? I mean, Ruby Franke is telling herself in these writings that she's, and I don't quite understand it, like why she thinks her children are so possessed. I have my own theories, but because of the redactions, I can't really get too deep into that. But she thinks they're being influenced by the devil. But why these two young kids, 12 and 10, why are they being singled out for this horrific abuse and maybe not the other kids?
Well, the younger kids are the easiest targets. They're the most vulnerable. They're the ones that have the hardest time fighting back. But I think what this story tells us is something much larger in society, which is this whole concept of what I like to call the Facebook fallacy or the Instagram illusion, is that people watched this mother. She became an overnight sensation. At one point, she had over 2 million followers. But it just goes to show you that everything you see, everything you hear, you have to question. You have to be skeptical. You have to be cynical, because all these people that are posting this stuff on social media, we develop this opinion of them, but we know that with people, you only get two things: what they show you and what you want to see. So this is a perfect example of how an image can be manipulated in society to make people believe that people are a certain way when nothing could be further from the truth.
And I don't, she did have a lot of followers, but I don't think anybody ever thought Ruby Franke was perfect, because she, I mean, people were raising concerns about this for a long time, saying this woman, the way she's treating her kids on YouTube and on TikTok or what have you, is not right. But that pales into comparison, in what is written in these documents and what Ruby Franke documented. Why on earth would somebody, in your opinion, document all of this abuse? It almost makes me think like she thought she was doing the right thing, but I don't understand how someone in the name of God could think that they were doing the right thing by having their children do things like carry heavy boxes upstairs and stand out in the sun and, as punishment, run up hills and, stay in a closet without food and call it fasting. I just don't get it.
Yeah, well, maybe it was something that she was taking to a delusional extreme, which is why she made no attempt to conceal it and, in fact, documented it. I think it's very important what you're saying. She didn't really try to hide it, and people had expressed concerns for a long time. We're not just talking about the people that were watching her YouTube, but the people that lived close by were telling police for years that there's something going on. So I wonder what the role of law enforcement is in all of this, because it feels like they kind of dropped the ball. They didn't respond to all these pleas for help. And this is not the only time that we know of that law enforcement kind of didn't really follow through on something. They obviously have a tough job, and they're overworked and they're underpaid and they're outgunned. But in this particular case, if calls were made to 911 and there was no follow through, I think this went on a lot longer than it needed to.
Much longer. I mean, if this begins in May of 2023, the kids escape the house in late August. This journal ends on August 27th. I mean, she details the whole summer. The whole summer is in this 60 pages of documents. And she talks about, these kids, being ungrateful. They're kids. I mean, they're like 12-year-old and 10-year-old kids. They're probably just doing things that children do.
Right.
And
Well,
they're being
I'm also a child and adolescent psychiatrist, and I can tell you that I have this conversation with parents all the time. They say, well, how do I discipline my child? It's the difference between taking away something they want and something that they need. If you're not letting them play with their toys, that's one thing. But if you're depriving them of a meal, of nutrition, that is abuse.
Yeah, I've never heard of fasting for a child. Maybe if you're getting blood work done, but I mean, giving the child, just like lentils and
Yeah,
grilled
there's really no
cheese and
legitimate
things like
medical
that.
reason for that. Right.
Yeah, it's disgusting. There were some other things in here too. She's talking about this 12-year-old, how he's continuing to, he's defecating himself and wetting himself. There are some kids I know that take a really long time to be able, like there's something going on with the brain. It's not communicating with the bladder. She's talking about him wetting himself and defecating himself a lot. There are some kids, just especially boys, overnight, they just won't wake up to go to the bathroom and stuff like that. I don't know if that was part of this, but she's talking about how disgusting he is because he's defecating, he's pooping himself and peeing himself. I mean, it could be a reaction to the abuse he's enduring.
Absolutely, absolutely. I could not have said it better myself. We know that kids very often are nonverbal and they can't talk about their feelings, so they will express their feelings as sometimes a change in bowel or bladder habits. That can be a sign of trauma. That can be a sign of abuse. So you're right on target.
There's also a humiliation aspect of this that I find so disturbing. The little girl, you know, they're saying basically, we're going to shave your head. Ruby keeps telling her, I'm going to shave your head. If you make any faces at me, I will shave your hair off. And she did that several times throughout these documents. And that to me, it's like you're a girl. And a lot of girls, not all, but a lot of girls have longer hair. And
That's part of their
it's
identity.
what, yeah, it's what makes us
A
who we
girl.
are.
Right.
Makes
Right.
me a girl, right? Makes me a
Right.
girl. When I was a kid, I always had long hair. I've got longer hair now as an adult.
Right.
And that to me was like she was just trying to shame her and humiliate her along with the physical abuse.
Absolutely. Another form of physical and emotional abuse, shaming them, depriving them of something that's part of their identity, humiliation, all part of the abuse.
I know I'm asking you to speculate here. What kind of mental illness could Ruby Franke suffer from?
So it could be some form of severe trauma, possibly dissociation. It could be psychosis, that she's literally out of touch with reality. Um, Maybe even drug or alcohol use. We just don't know. It would be pure speculation to say. And if the fact that she didn't try to conceal it and she documented it and she basically handed the prosecution their case, you know, makes me think that maybe she wasn't completely in touch with reality, but I wouldn't know unless I spoke with her and I looked at her own documents and records.
There was another disturbing aspect of this. I mean, the disturbing aspects go on and on. I don't know what it just gets worse and worse, but they were going to buy property, Jodi and Ruby, according to this diary.
I
And
told
they were
y'all they were together. They buying property together.
going to buy property in Arizona and move the kids out there so they could continue, because whatever they were doing in Utah was not suitable enough. So it needed to be much harder. The work had to be harder. That's the only way you become obedient and compliant and that you resist Satan. So they're going to move them out to a ranch in Arizona. My God, I fear for what could have happened to these kids had the boy not escaped and gone for help. They could have died.
Yeah, well, they would have been even more cut off from anyone that could have helped them, more isolated. As horrific as it is, it could have even been more horrific.
What is it going to take for these children to get through this? I mean, intensive therapy, obviously, but what will it take? Will they ever be able to recover from this and get stronger from enduring this? I mean, I know it's hard for you to say that having not met them, but I just can't even imagine these poor kids, what they've gone through and what they will continue to go through.
We know that victims of abuse have much higher rates of depression, of anxiety, of insomnia, of all sorts of mental illness, post-traumatic stress that they will probably have to deal with for years. It probably will take years of therapy, years of treatment for them to develop any kind of trusting relationship with another human being.
Well, let's hope that they're able
That's
to
sad.
somehow get to a point where they can flourish and recover to some degree. It's going to be a process and take a long time.
Most
But
important
Ruby
thing is that
Franke,
they're
and
away from these people is the most important first step.
most definitely, and they are where they belong.
Did Ruby ask how her children were? Did Jodi ask how those children were? Kevin's just an ass. No, they didn't, because they're only worried about themselves. They're only mad because they got caught, not because of what they were doing. And it was so horrific that they had to redact pages and pages and pages of court documents. We saw 3 on the screen. There were more than 3. We know that. I don't know, you guys. Let me know in the comments what you think about this, because I already want to just throat punch both of them. And like I said, Jodi got a bigger neck, so I could do pow pow double. These I pray, and I hope that these children can recover from this, because sometimes they can't, and they have to live with this for the rest of their life. And I just pray that they are able to at least get some kind of closure and be able to live the rest of their life normally. These women are monsters parading as mothers. Yes, like everything looked hunky dory on the outside, and look what was going on the inside. And that's what we don't know about a lot of people. You never know. That's why you're supposed to be kind, people, because you never know what someone's going through. And they could easily fake a smile on the outside, but on the inside, it's totally different. But that's all that I have for y'all tonight. Thank you so much, everybody on X. Y'all are the bomb. Thank you, YouTube and Facebook. I appreciate all of you for watching with me. Hit that thumbs up if you did, share and subscribe, and I will see you guys later.